أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، وبعد. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا، اللهم زدنا علما وارزقنا فهما يا رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. After we praise the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, peace and blessings unto our beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his family, his friends, and all those who follow him. My respected brothers and sisters, when the month of Ramadan is ushered in, it demonstrates the unity of this ummah of Muhammad salawatullahi alayhi. As indeed the nature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ibadat, it's all about bringing people together. Ramadan is no exception. It helps us ummah to be aware of the importance of unity. It helps us ummah to be aware of those lesser fortunate, and that ought to be that mutual awareness and the mutual sympathy between the Muslim ummah. As we see in the month of Ramadan, it increases that sympathy, that awareness of the entire ummah, where the lesser fortunate is being cared for. As indeed when the month of Ramadan is ushered in, when we start it, it ought to remind us of what Nabi Yusuf alayhi salam also have said about fasting. As you all know, the history of Nabi Yusuf alayhi salam, he grew up in a palace where everything was available of luxurious life, luxurious eatables, and luxury food was available to him. But Nabi Yusuf alayhi salam, in that position that he finds himself, used to fast one day and used to eat one day. And when it was questioned to him, لِمَاذَا هَذَا الْجُوعُ, why this hunger? When you are exposed to all these luxurious things, of eatable things, edible things, we find that Nabi Yusuf demonstrate to us something very powerful that the Ramadan must also demonstrate to us, bring to us. What was his answer to that question? His answer was, أَخَافُ أَنْ أَشْبَعْ وَأَنْسَى الْجَاعِ. I fear that I will fill my stomach, I will fill myself with food, وَأَنْسَى الْجَاعِ, and I forget the hungry person, the one that is hungry. That demonstrates to us one wisdom of the greatness of this month of Ramadan. And hence, I say, it ought to bring the unity of this ummah, bring that lesser fortunate close to one another, and let us care and show that love and respect for one another. And once we have that, my beloved brothers, that love for one another, listen to what the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi said to us. لا تزال أمتي بخير ما تحابوا. My ummah, they will continuously be good. When there is mutual love and respect and unity. When you and I care for the lesser fortunate. When you and I care for one another. And when we do that, وَأَدَّوْا الْأَمَانَةِ, we have given that amana, that we care for one another, we are there for one another, as indeed the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi said, and that's our iman in caring. لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخي ما يحب لنفسه. No one's iman is completed not until he loves for his brother what he loves for himself. So that hunger that our lesser fortunate are experiencing, we are worried and concerned about that. Like Nabi Yusuf alayhi salam. That is what the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi demonstrate to us. That ought to be one of the fundamental things in the month of Ramadan. It must bring us together. As indeed, once we have that, and have that, the Nabi tells us also, لا تزال هذه الأمة تحت يد الله وفي كنفه. Once we have that, this ummah of his shall be under the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah's protection, because we care for one another. Ramadan is demonstrating that to us, isn't it this? Where we, and especially in Ramadan, goes that extra mile. Subhanaka ya Rab. That is what Ramadan is all about, my beloved brothers and sisters. And indeed, the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi also told us, Ummati hadihi ummatun marhuma. My ummah, this ummah of mine, this ummah is a ummah of mercy. So mercy for one another. We are there for one another. As we, if done the opposite, when we punish one another, indeed, that is dangerous. When the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi said, Inna Allah yu'adhibu alladhina yu'adhibu nas. Verily Allah punishes the individual that punish people. So we must show mercy for one another. That is Ramadan. It brings us to that humble submission and understanding. And when you do that good, my beloved brothers and sisters, in whatever form it may be it whatever sadaqah you give, it doesn't necessarily be money, to be material, to be wealth. You can be there for one another. Try to help remove an obstacle from one another. That is a form of sadaqah. And that sadaqah that you do, listen to the Nabi. كل امرئ في ظل صدقتي. Every individual that performs that sadaqah, he or she will be in the shadow of that sadaqah. Ya Allah. Now just imagine, that is ordinary time. How will it be in the month of Ramadan? It can only be double. وَعَمْلُ مُضَاعَفٍ. As the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, in speaking about Ramadan, your action will be double rewarded. Now just imagine, that is it. And you know, Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anh, he said something very nice. He said, As-sadaqatu junnatu min an-nar. The sadaqah is a protection from the fire. Now, I look to a situation where many people are going that extra mile, where many organizations are putting an extra effort in to care for people in the month of Ramadan, not that they're doing it other time. But I look at that and I said, Subhanallah, that's a reflection and an understanding that Allah loves you. Why? Because the illustrious leader Muhammad salawatullahi alayhi said, إِذَا أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِعَبْدٍ خَيْرًا. Whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants good for his slave, what does Allah do with him? إِسْتَعْمَلَهُ فِي قَضَاءِ حَوَائِجِ النَّاسِ. He uses him. He uses that slave to see to the need of the people. Isn't this demonstrated in the month of Ramadan? Where many a people, like your good self, goes that extra mile to see to the need of people. Now just imagine, that action that you are doing reflects that Allah loves you. Ya Allah, just imagine that. Allah loves you. And also, like we have said, Inna Allaha ma'alladhina taqaw walladhina hum muhsinun. Verily Allah is with those who have Allah conscious, who have taqwa, and Allah is with those who are doing good, like yourself. Imagine, Ya Allah, that action that you do, like I've said, is an indication Allah loves you, and it's an indication that Allah is with you. What better do you want? May Allah grant us that we will be of those fortunate ones, that Allah will accept all our ibadat, and Allah make it easy for all of us, for the entire ummah, and let us not forget the lesser fortunate at all times, especially those who are facing greater challenges and those that are oppressed. May Allah make it easy. And I ask you, Almighty Allah, to forgive us, forgive our parents, those that has passed on. May Allah grant them and all of us Jannatul Firdaus. Wa akhiru da'wahum anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.